Jane, tell us exactly geographically where we're located.
We are located in Hancock County, Bay St. Louis, Mississippi's west coast.
And this is a train depot.
This is the original train depot built in 1928.
And they went ahead and revitalized it.
They did. It had a facelift about 3 years ago.
We are in the Welcome Center, and in the Welcome Center we have a Mardi Gras museum. Tell us what we see in here.
You see the king and the queen and all of the dukes and maids that, from this year, it's 2013. They are changed out once a year. So if you come see it now, come back again next year. You have a whole new set of costumes.
These costumes are coming from a Mardi Gras crew that is based here.
We have an all-female Mardi Gras crew, the crew of Nereids, and it is based here. The parade is on Highway 90 in Waveland and in Bay St. Louis, and these are the costumes worn by the dukes and the maids.
And so, as you said, these are from currently from 2013? 2012. And they will only be here for a year. They'll be changed out.
Yes, they'll be changed out every year, about 2 or 3 weeks after Mardi Gras is over. Then we take down the ones that are on display and bring in the next year. I'd
like to talk a little bit about these costumes, because these are not found in a catalog and you just pick it.
No, they're not. Carter Church is the designer here in Hancock County in Bay St. Louis. It takes him a whole year to create these costumes. The king's tunic took 400 hours. The queen's dress took 600 hours. So with all the workmanship that goes into it, they don't need to be sitting in somebody's closet or in their attic. The people that own these costumes were generous enough to let us use them for a year and allow other people to see how beautiful they are.
What is the process that Mr. Church uses for these costumes?
The crew of Nereids tells him a year in advance, usually on Mardi Gras Day, what the theme will be for the next year. He then creates 20 different sketches that pertain to the theme, gives it back to the crew. They say, yes, we like it, no, we don't. And once they have narrowed it down, he starts ordering his materials. His ostrich feathers come from Africa. There is more bling and blitz here than you can imagine. And he goes to work, usually arrives here about June or July, and then he kicks into gear and starts working on them.
Now, of course, to us consumers, we might use a spot of glue gun here and there for a different project. This is all hand done.
The king's tunic and the queen's dress are all hand sewn. The majority of the rest of the costumes are actually glued on applique. We would use a glue gun or a glue stick, as you said. He buys his glue by the 5-gallon containers.
Wow! And a bunch of people to help him, I'm sure.
He's alone by himself until about the last 8 weeks, and he has a group of about 10 different workers that have worked with him in the past. They come, they kick into gear, and then the hot glue really starts flying.
Now, do the crew members purchase these costumes themselves?
They do. There is a fee to be a duke or a fee to be a maid, and then along besides that fee, they've got to come and buy their costumes. Also, their beads to buy. It's a big production. We had a postal employee that was queen several years ago, and she considered it like a wedding. She started saving her money. Sure enough, they asked her, and the queen's dress can be $3,000 to $10,000. And when they asked her, she had saved her money, and she was prepared and did an excellent job.
What do you think some of these dukes and maids costumes are worth?
Well, as I said, the queen's dress can be between $3,000 and $10,000. It's approximately $1,500 just to be a duke, not counting the costume itself. And they vary a little bit depending upon what the amount of workmanship that goes into it.
This particular set that you have in here from 2012 was a special, because it's a theme every year. What was the theme here?
Disco Fever was the theme, and they've got pop art. They have a Duke and Maid revolving around New York nightlife, Studio 54 complete with disco balls on the headpiece, the dress, the train. They have disco music with vinyl records on the Duke's costume. So it takes into account all of that.
And all of the sketches then that Mr. Church did are approved by the crew.
Correct.
And then he begins on the construction of
yes.
it. Yeah. The ball itself, and we should talk a little bit about Nereids. That is an all-female crew.
Correct.
And they have their ball at the Coliseum in Biloxi.
They do, approximately 2 weeks before Mardi Gras.
Mm-hmm. And of course, what you're seeing here is just the royalty part. Because they have a whole crew of people who are putting on a show, and they are all dressed in whatever they need to.
They are, and they will dance, they will sing, they will put on production numbers in between the presentation of each set of Dukes and Maids.
Mm-hmm. So come to the Welcome Center here in Hancock County, and you will see these costumes, but don't wait long because they change every year.
Correct. They'll be changed out in about February to March of each year, and we'll bring in a new set.
Jane, let's talk now about the beads that are associated with Mardi Gras. Many people see them being thrown from the floats and so forth. What do they mean?
Well, Mardi Gras colors are primarily purple, green, and gold. Purple stands for justice. Green stands for faith. Then they throw in just some extra colors. But gold is power. Gold is the most powerful one. So their colors are purple, green, and gold.
And they don't skimp many times on the beads themselves.
No, each member of the crew of Nereids is required to buy a minimum of $300 worth of beads. Most of them buy between $500 and $800 worth of beads. So come, catch some beads, throw me something, mister. There's a lot to be seen and done here in Hancock County.
And I've noticed that sometimes the beads, the type of bead can give off a very glittery effect based on how the bead is cut on the string. Like the octagon-shaped bead, when held up to the sun, can shine a lot brighter than just the plain round colored bead.
That's correct. But it's not just the octagon bead or the round beads. They have beads with crawfish on them. They have beads with shoes on them. They have giant circle beads that are the size of your fist. It's all about the beads, and the more bling to the beads, the more people want to collect them.
We also should point out that it's not just the beads. There is a trinket that everybody loves to get, and that is the doubloon.
It is. The doubloons are very special and very rare. There are not a lot of them that are thrown, so that if you catch a balloon, then you're very lucky to have one.
And and also the cups, which have, of course, the crew's emblem on it.
They do. They're plastic cups that you can catch with the emblem on them, or they throw moon pies. Moon pies are also another favor that people like to get.
So people going to a parade, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they go to the parade, they can catch beads that glitter, they can catch doubloons, they can catch cups, and they can have a snack with the moon pie.
And they might even catch a small stuffed toy animal on top of that. There are lots of things that are thrown.